meeting in Gwagwalada, some key issues were raised. From police stations in Gwagwalada, he was practically talking to the person representing the CP. So this is not a civil servant's approach. It is sharp. We are adding more to police stations, and no police stations can tell us that they don't have vehicle because the president has given a marching order to provide vehicles for police station. That's number two. And he also talked about the people asked him about dualizing their road. And he went on to say some shops will go, they say they agree. That's how when former Minister FCT became governor of Kaduna State, I was hearing people chanting, Karusha Gida Mukasa Hanya, Karusha Gida Mukasa, meaning that demolish our house and pull road. When the gentleman started, they started saying, no, he's a wicked man. He's a wicked, so I don't know. If Gwagwalada people really were asking for that. But he also talked about demolitions of houses that have stayed there for long. Before we go to the house, because the house is full, Usanforgod is here, Mr. Elvis Maz is here. Sami, what are your takes on that? What do you see from the minister's speech in Gwagwalada?
Well, I would say, especially given the response of the people, that he touched on a lot of issues that are affecting them. I like the fact that he came down and said, look, let's speak in the language that you can hear everything that I'm saying very clearly. And as he was speaking, they were encouraging him, they were urging him on, and everybody seemed to be on board with the things he was saying. We also skipped out on the fact that he talked about security and insecurity in the area. So, these are very vital issues. These are things that, if really the minister were to go ahead and put all these plans in motion and implement all of these things, I'm sure that in the long run, Gwagwalada will be happy. The people in that area council will be very, very happy. Everything from insecurity to incomplete buildings to dualizing of the road. In the short run, yes, maybe some people may be affected by some of these changes. He says he does not care whose ox is God. He will demolish houses, and all of that. As long as it is not a political statement that he's making, as long as he has the willpower and the resources to back up everything.
And also not infringing on anybody's human rights.
That's why I said, politics, because some things may be seen as political. If really in the long run, it does not necessarily impact on the lives of the people. So, fantastic words from the FCT minister based on the reaction of the people that were in that town hall meeting. If everybody there was happy with what he was saying, why not? Let's urge him on and let's encourage him while he's doing what needs to be done.
All right. Well, and let's move on to the men in the house this morning. Mr. Elvis, let's start with you. You had. We read out the update from the police command, and then we also went on to listen to the FCT minister also speak in Gwagwalada. As it were, some weeks ago he was in Abuja, now he's in Gwagwalada. Looks like the FCT minister is taking a tour, which you would also say the people, the residents of Abuja needs that kind of tour to also boost their faith and pushing the message of hope from Mr. President, because he never left that out of his statement. Mr. Elvis, let's take a clue from you.
Thank you very much, the billionaire. Thank you very much, Abuja. I will start by saying that in fact, in a long time, this is the first time we are having an FCT minister. I have always known the current FCT minister as a man of action. His records as the former governor of Rivers State can attest to the fact that he's a no-nonsense human being in terms of projects and in terms of taking actions where actions are necessary and needed. He highlighted on a lot of issues, and I will also want him to take seriously the issue of insecurity in FCT. Sometime last year, or was it 2 years ago, so a team of members of the Presidential Guards Brigade were killed in that Buhari area. And the information we got from the security agents was that they were bandits. And that was when some of us started raising concern about the rate of insecurity in FCT. I remember many years ago, 10, 11, 12 years ago, Abuja was a place where you can sleep with your doors open. In fact, the highest rate of crime we could remember in Abuja or in FCT was stealing of cars. But today, cars could be snatched at gunpoint. Kidnappers could invade your house, kidnap people in their numbers, and get away with it. And another thing from what you read earlier, I think the police should really do a lot on their public relations. The issue of telling us from the first article you read that those family members were rescued.
Yes.
We need to differentiate between rescued and receiving. Rescue is an act of saving somebody who is in danger. If the police is telling us that they rescued members of that family, is it that they engaged the kidnappers? Possibly they encountered casualties on the part of the kidnappers and those family members were rescued? These are two different things, and I feel the police should learn to mind their words with regards to some of these things they put out in public. On the other hand, security is everybody's business, just like the Honorable Minister said. But I think that there is need for rapid response on the part of the security agents. That is one thing I feel that is lacking. In fact, where I live, we had an experience 2 years ago where we got information that some of these bad boys were to visit our estate. We reached out to the police, and it took them over 3 hours to come around. Eventually, those boys came. It took them over 3 hours. In fact, at a time we heard their vehicle broke down on the road on their way to our estate. So the rapidness in their response is important.
Response time.
Yes, because if I put up a call to the police that there is a kidnapping activity here, and within the next 5-10 minutes there is the presence of the police to counter that, I don't think these kidnappers will have a free day.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to Mazi Destiny.
Thank you, Sir. I want to start by thanking the current FCT minister. Just like Elvis said, it's been a long time that we, had somebody in that office, with action. It looked like in the beginning when he came in, it looked like the things that are happening in River State was distracting him, kind of. So now he's back with us. And that was what I said in one of the previous shows, that he really needs to stay here and stay here with us. I believe that with the steps that he's taking, we are going to see results. I believe also that, visiting the area councils, we give the people hope, and confidence that they've not been, forgotten. And also the security men and women who risk their life. The reason why I say they risk their life, I don't know if you saw the video over the weekend where they used their bike with military men to enter one bush to go after these criminals. If you're not trained and if you don't have passion for that kind of job, I won't try it on a bike. And while we were still moving, they started shooting. And the way they were able to, none of them, from what we saw, none of them lost their life, but they went after those criminals. So that will also give those men and women the motivation, to, do more. I strongly believe, like I keep saying, and people keep saying, I don't know whether Mike paid me to do this thing. When he was the education minister of state or something for education, you could see that, he was an action man. As a governor in River State for 8 years, somebody who was able to, River State had serious insecurity issues before Wike came, the court staying and so on and so forth. So for Wike to be able to have been able to handle that case, I think what we are experiencing here should be a child's play for him. I'm not saying that we are not taking lightly any security issue, but what I mean is that he has what it takes, to man the affairs of the FCT and then give us peace. But at the same time, I'm appealing to the security agencies. I was discussing with Elvis before we came into the studio. Why would it take, Oga visiting here and there before we started seeing action? Do you understand? This is your job. When your show starts, you always hear before your time. When it's time for you to leave the studio, somebody else is already ready. Nobody needs to remind you that your show starts 9 o'clock. You're here. So it doesn't sink in well for me that it will take the FCT minister visiting and then making promises before. Because whether you like it or not, FCT minister only promised vehicles and security gadgets. So that means this result that we saw is still with the equipment, with the vehicle, with whatever that the police and the other agents, what they have, that is what they use to give us this result. So I do not think that is you not having the right equipment, not having this one gave the result, that the few result that we see and the small piece that we experience now.
So for you, there's some form of approach. The approach.
I just feel like, I don't know. I just don't want to say anything, and then tomorrow I will have to go somewhere and start speaking grammar. But let me say it this way. Is it that they are cold now? I don't know. In terms of doing what they are supposed to do. Do you understand me? Now, Organa has to come up and then everybody suddenly wakes up.
Well, let's take a quick break, and when we'll come back, we'll listen to Usanforgod makes his point on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay one step ahead.
This is Nigeria